Greetings, sentient beings. This broadcast is not intended for children. It will contain strong language and adult themes. So starting out tonight, we have Bionic Dance with us.
Hi, everybody.
I see Spooky Bed here in the side chat.
Oh.
It says there are 5 people waiting, so there must be some other people lurking there who just haven't typed anything yet.
I really ought to pull up the chat.
Yeah, I always
there
do
it
the
goes.
YouTube
Now
pop-out chat.
Now it's coming on the actual StreamYard. There we go.
Okay, yes, we've got Doc Fearsome and Godless Sewing there.
Oh, right on.
So if anybody else wants to join in, if you didn't see a link in the groups and you want one, let me know.
Actually, I'm not sure I've ever met Godless Sewing before. The others, yeah, hi, been there, done that. You're great people, but I don't think I know Godless Sewing.
Oh, been in the chats with me a few times. Yeah, I guess maybe not on the same night you were here.
Well, it might just be my memory issues again. There's like people and names is the worst for my memory right now.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Oh, and Lone Wanderer. Hello.
Hello.
So anyway, being Friday the 13th, thought we would discuss a bit on superstitions. What do people consider brings good or bad luck? The whole origins of Friday the 13th are really so messed up that if you try to research it, you wind up getting a lot of contradictory myths and not any real solid information. At least that's been my experience.
I've encountered that with so many things before. It's deeply frustrating.
Yeah, the most popular one seems to think it has something to do with a day that all the Teutonic Knights got slaughtered, but even that the sources are questionable.
Oh, every now and then there's that thing that people take as axiomatically so, and then you find out that it's just an old wives' tale that's been passed back and forth between people, and it was never the right answer. I hate that.
Oh, hey, Sloth Girl.
Hello. And Doorknob Head.
Oh, Sloth Girl, I told Barman your joke tonight when I was on with the shills earlier.
I haven't heard it. What joke?
The walk from my house to the pub is 10 minutes.
Oh, this one.
But the walk from the pub to the house is 45 minutes. The difference is staggering.
Ew. I saw that meme like a couple of days ago, and I've been dying for a chance to say it my own darn self, because that is good.
Yeah, well, I was in the pub chat with the shills, and Sarcastic Barman was hosting, so had to get that one in there somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I used to go to Irish pubs and learned so many Irish toasts. I've said a few of them, I'm sure, maybe on this show. But yeah, they were great. But if we're going to talk superstitions, there was this like old Irish legend they taught me that when you die, you are suspended head first into a barrel full of all of the alcohol you've ever wasted. And if you drown, to hell with you.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. I think somebody had posted that some time ago.
I have something like, okay, I'm going to call it not a superstition, but a secret identity stition, because I've never told anyone about it until right now. And I know it's bullshit. I do it anyway. I guess it amuses me. Whenever I'm going on an airplane and you go down that tunnel, the gangway, whatever they call it, I will put my right index finger into my mouth to the first joint. And then when I get to the plane, I take it out and swipe it down the side of the plane and go inside. And that ensures we will not crash. Haven't crashed yet. It totally works. No, I know it's bullshit. I don't even remember when I started doing it. It just amuses me.
I'm going to assume this is something you started doing when you were like 7 years old.
Oh, probably closer to 11, but yeah, something like that. Definitely early childhood.
Yeah, so yeah, like at that age, it would make sense. And yeah, it just gets to be a habit and you don't think about it too much.
Well, it makes me laugh now. I mean, every now and then I'm like, I should knock this off, but what the hell? But knowing it so long, it hurts nobody. Fuck it, I'll just do it.
Yep. So I guess the luck evens out for me because if you have a tuxedo cat, they're half black and half white. So that's like half bad luck and half good luck, right?
Sort of a yin yang thing?
Yeah.
There you go. Sure. But, oh, yeah, sure, doorknob head. Now you know where to get some bionic DNA off of a plane where water can't stay on it when it's in flight. That'll work.
Well, I mean, regular DNA maybe, but bionic DNA, it's going to stick to the metal.
I don't know. I mean, it built into every cell in my bionic body is the urge to either escape or self-destruct if one cannot. Therefore, all of that DNA on the plane clearly jumped off and then, died on impact. But hey.
Are you sure it died?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. The self-destruct will activate when it encounters an impact it cannot survive.
Okay.
That's harder to pronounce than compoundophobia.
Well, it's like, except the part there with the K, between the two Ks is the difficult bit.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Paraskevidekatriphobia? Something close to that.
Paraskevidekatriophobia. I don't know. Bet you if you type that into like Google, there will be one of those little links you can click on that pronounces it for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the impact of landing will kill it, but that's when the automatic self-destruct activates, just to make sure that, people like Doorknob Head can't get hold of it and use it.
Ah.
Yeah. Besides, if I ever clone myself, it'll be intentional. Actually, it's funny. When I was on Tosh.0, he dressed up as Moses at one point and came out with 2 like Apple tablets with the 10 Commandments on them.
Okay, I didn't see that part of it. I saw a clip of you on the show with him. I didn't watch the whole show.
It was towards the end. I don't know. It's funny. I got another check for the show. I've been getting them like over the last couple of years, and most of them are for like $1.33 or something. This one's $180, which makes me think that they were sharing the YouTube revenue with me with the other checks. But this one, they showed it on TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's my guess, anyway. But I didn't know it was going to be a paid gig when they asked me to do it. I thought I was just volunteering. Who knew?
No, I would have thought it would have been like a one-time appearance fee. I didn't know you'd be getting royalties from it years later.
Crazy, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well. I'm trying to think of other superstitions that I've ever had, and they're not coming to me. What do you think started the whole salt over your shoulder nonsense?
Used to know that one, and I think it had something to do with it throwing demons off your trail.
Oh, okay. I guess that makes a weird kind of sense. I mean, it's still bullshit, but it makes a kind of sense, I guess.
Yeah, that somehow it was like it was covering your tracks, because the whole thing also, like with the salt is used for purifying rituals. But also, like a circle of salt is supposed to be used to contain a demon when you summon them.
I think, like, people salt ground to make it so you can't plant crops there. So maybe it's, like, part of that, too, that the demons can't follow you because you've, like, tainted the earth or some shit. I don't know.
Could be.
I'm just guessing. Usually when I guess like that, it's completely wrong.
Yep.
Yeah.
Did you know that Eve was actually the first computer user? She had an apple in one hand and a wang in the other.
You lost me with the Wang part. I know the
Well,
slang
Adam's
thing.
Wang.
No, I got that part, but is that a computer device too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, in
Okay,
the
see that?
80s. Wang was a company that made computers in the 80s.
Yeah, somehow I missed that one. But
They actually were a pretty big company for office machines. I don't know if they're still around or not.
well, I always had like home desktop machines, usually for gaming, sometimes for art or programming, but never for business.
Yeah, I pretty much just had Commodores in that era.
Oh, I hated that my parents wouldn't let me have a C64. They were like, you can't play violent video games, they'll make you violent. I'm like, really? Because, I watched Star Wars and look at how many people I've shot. But whatever. So yeah, I had a Trash 80 Coco 2 instead because they're like, it uses BASIC, you can program. So
Okay, what computer that time didn't?
well, I don't know. I think they were just like, this isn't a gaming machine, so Kate can have it.
Yeah, that was actually one of the big selling points of the Commodore 64, that it wasn't just a gaming machine, but being a full computer.
Mhm. Well, my parents decided to get the computer part, but without the gaming.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's one of the perils of being raised by hippies.
Hey, Julie.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
Let's see. Other superstitions. I mean, there's a lot of them,
I guess
but
none of mine were, really that powerful, so they were just like regular superstitions and not superstitions.
well, like I said, mine was hidden, thus a secret identity station.
Yeah.
Uh, man, I can't believe I'm blanking on superstitions right now. I used to know so many. It's probably just being put on the spot.
Yeah, well, I went through with 25 years of paganism, so tested out a lot of those things, and I mean, a lot of them you knew were bunk to start with, but I played with the things of the crystal healing and the color healing and all sorts of healing and meditation things, and so yeah, a lot of stuff in there that it's like, yeah, I kind of wonder where most of that stuff came from.
Wonder where the tradition of birthday spankings plus the one for good luck, the like how that got started.
I have wondered about the birthday spankings. Apart from the fact that you get slapped on the ass when you're first born, I don't see any connection there.
Here's one I totally forgot about. In Japan, you're not supposed to stick your chopsticks into the rice and let them stand upright.
Okay, I didn't know
Well,
about that one.
apparently, it looks like the unlucky number 4, which means death.
Huh.
And also the incense sticks used at funerals. So yeah, I actually never knew the reason for the superstition till now. I'm just looking it up, but I had heard of the superstition.
How about from the side chat? Anybody there got any superstitions you want to know the origins of? Go ahead and ask us. If we don't know, one of us will make some shit up.
Oh, there was something you mentioned before about the salt containing demons. I'm not sure exactly the origin of it. I think it's possibly Russian, and if not Russian, it's still Slavic somehow. A tradition of putting a circle of salt around a bride and groom as they're saying their vows at the wedding. And like the best man is supposed to sweep his foot across the circle when the ceremony is done, letting the bride and groom out of the circle. Not really sure what it symbolizes, but
Yep. Yeah, so us growing, I used to do a lot of this about, somebody dictating and somebody typing, getting the programs out of the computer magazines. You used to purposely step on them. Did you really hate your mother?
I'd forgotten about that one.
Yeah.
I'm looking up that salt thing, if it's real or not. I read it somewhere, but weird. I can't tell. Some of these things are describing weirdness. Like apparently in some cultures they pour salt together, the bride and the groom, so that now they're mixed into one. And I guess they like, I don't know, make food out of it. It's hard to tell. Oh, no. They put it in a vessel and it's displayed in their home, apparently. Okay. Weird. Well, whatevs.
Yep. Okay, let's just see. Just Googled for superstitions to get us started. Well, knocking on wood.
Does it say what that's about?
Yeah. Okay, the actual origins and even meaning of the phrase are as varied as the cultures which use it, with some suggesting roots in the Indo-European or Celtic beliefs that spirits, good and bad, resided in trees. Now, that would make a lot of sense for a lot of the Northern European traditions. Okay, and by knocking on wood, you could call on the spirits from within the wood.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this one. Where apparently actors aren't supposed to mention Macbeth, that they
yes.
use the Scottish play instead.
Yep.
That one's just weird. I remember there was an episode of Blackadder where like these two actors, like anytime anyone said it, they had this weird ritual they had to go through where they had to like patty cake each other and say something weird where it was like hot potato off his drawers, pluck to make amends or something like that. And then they grab each other's noses.
Yep, I remember that scene.
It's fine. I also always heard it badly. Like the off his drawers always sounded to me like up the shores, and pluck to make amends sounded to me like blood will make amends.
I was never clear on what the words were because they did it so fast. I never quite got it.
Yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing on throwing salt over your shoulder. That would be from ancient Rome. Perhaps the most common superstition in the West involves throwing salt over one's shoulder. The superstition involves the idea of warding off evil, the devil or the devil himself.
Weird. I found don't walk under a ladder, and it's not what I would have thought.
Okay, yeah, and basically this finishes up with that. Basically, the idea is by throwing salt over your shoulder, you would temporarily blind the devil so he couldn't follow you.
Well, salt in the eyes does suck, but I would have thought a demon-y magic being would be like, if not immune, at least would have some way to counteract it.
Yep.
But the ladder thing, I always figured it was just, well, if you walk under a ladder, it could land on your noggin. But apparently it symbolizes the gallows where people were hanged.
Yeah, I always just assumed that when they only used wooden ladders, you know, you couldn't always be sure of the strength of them, and they were likely to collapse at random.
Well, I just always figured it was danger, and apparently not. Ugh. Man, I'm looking at this website. There's like 56 different superstitions, and some of these are really douchey.
Well, weasel stomping is not a superstition, it's just a tradition.
Sounds like fun.
Now, when you get a chance on YouTube, look up Weasel Stomping Day and find the Robot Chicken version. It's
I
a song
remember
that Robot Chicken did a great video too.
I remember Whacking Day from The Simpsons, where they would take like these paddles and hit snakes with them. Or maybe it was bats. I don't know, but there was something about hitting like snakes with an object that was usually used for striking things. Baseball bats, paddles, whatever.
Actually, I think that there was supposed to be a tradition. I think it was supposed to go back to Ireland as being connected somehow with St. Patrick about beating the snakes with bats. All of which is a complete myth because there is not a single species of snake that is native to Ireland to begin with.
Well, I really only know the Simpsons version.
Okay, yeah, black cats walking under ladder, kind of got those. Never get involved in a land war in Asia. That's just sage advice. Hi.
Don't chew gum at night. Oh, that's in Turkey. Never mind. Don't kiss babies on the lips in Nigeria. Well, you know what? I wouldn't do it anywhere.
Yep.
Oh my God, this is so dumb. If you plant one on a baby in Nigeria, legend says you'll condemn them to spend their entire adult lives drooling.
That would explain some people I know, but
wow.
The Legend of Break a Leg, that's another theater thing, and I don't remember where that originally came from. But I think it was something about some famous actor who actually, did break a leg performing a stunt during a play. But I don't remember what the rest of the story is for that.
You sure they didn't just jump a shark?
Well, no, because then you'd be missing a leg, not breaking one.
Well, it's still strange. Like if I was going to wish someone good luck in a theater, I'd wish it was actually something that sounded good lucky. And breaking a leg is something I tend to avoid.
Yep. Okay, was that The Simpsons? I think that Sloth Girl was referring to was also snakes.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay, Robert has tested this one about making faces when the clock strikes 1.
I always thought that was just any old time. Isn't it? The whole thing is mom says, don't make that face or it'll stick that way.
Yeah, I remember a Calvin and Hobbes strip that he was trying to hold his face in one position all day to see if that would happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I spent a really long time trying to use the force, but it only worked on, supermarket doors. So.
Yeah. Well, the other one that works is if you concentrate long enough on a traffic light, you can turn it green.
I tried that, but it would not stop blinking red.
Yeah, I think Doc's got it right. It's bad luck to believe in superstitions.
Well, who told you that one? Probably some old wife.
Okay, so apparently in Greece, you can ward off priests the same way you get rid of vampires.
Well, I'm willing to say that in Italy there are no vampires.
Yeah, Hans, that Kate had already covered the thing about not saying the name of the Scottish play.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have wondered about what Robert X is saying, the women being bad luck on a ship. I imagine that's more a matter of the crew goes nuts because they're all horny as hell and they figure, well, and it just causes division.
Yeah, I expect the bad luck is probably because it caused a lot of the sailors to be fighting with each other. So it kind of screwed up the smooth control, the smooth operation of the ship. Yes, it is Friday the 13th, Robert. Are you having a problem with it? You've been enduring it for several more hours than we've had to.
Well, actually, it's still the 12th here in San Diego.
In some cultures, it's considered bad luck to kill a priest with a fountain pen.
Well,
But
only
it's
if
good luck
someone
to kill a
notices.
priest with a ballpoint. What if the priest doesn't have a pen at all?
Well, I personally would bring along, like a pen that's fairly stabby. Maybe a Sharpie, because, I'll just be over here.
Now that one works.
But no, I'm sure that you could, like, disembowel someone with a Bic if you had to.
A Thai superstition to not cut hair on Wednesday.
Well, I saw another one that said, and I forget where this was, probably England, that actually Wednesday is the best day to go to the hospital.
Well, it's the best day for a lot of things, but why with a hospital?
I mean, why any of this stuff?
Well, I'm not saying any of them have any real founding, but it's like a lot of them, there was like some event that got people to believe it in the first place.
Well, I mean, okay, I guess the only difference between a superstition and a tradition is whether or not magic is involved. I mean, I'm just saying, it seems to be the distinction, the distinguishing feature, so.
Yep. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce your name there. Was it Jinzu? I'm guessing it's something like that. But I've tended to have problems with a Monday that begins with any number between 1 and 30.
So 31 is fine.
As long as it doesn't happen more than like every other month.
Well, it is nice to have that one day, that one really nice day per month, even if it isn't every month.
The best day to go to the hospital is your birthday. Why? Do they give you half off or something? Like you get at restaurants?
I'm guessing the references don't have a home birth.
I thought it was maybe like a restaurant, you get a free dessert on your birthday. So like if you go to the ER on your birthday, do you get like, you get free recovery, free bandages or something after a surgery? I don't know.
Actually, come to think of it, after the number of times I've been in and out of a hospital in the last couple of decades, I want one of those punch cards, where if you go 10 times, you get like free facial surgery or something.
Hey, I must have got the pronunciation pretty good there, huh? They take half off if you're a boy. Yeah, I'm a little nervous about them just snipping the tip off. If they took half, that would be, going way too far.
Well, that's the thing is, when doctors perform circumcisions, they aren't paid. They only take tips.
Yep.
That's an old joke. Like, I remember there's a routine with like Al Franken from early 80s, late 70s something, where he's supposed to be a stand-up comedian who just suffered traumatic brain damage. And like his partner, the host, is telling everyone, be supportive, please be supportive of him. And he like gets all the way through that joke that I just told. And then he keeps getting lost in the middle of other jokes. And so the host will do something, splash him with water, slap him on the face to try to break him out of it. And then he'll say the punchline again. They only took tips, like that. It was funny when I saw it, but I think I was 12. So.
Yeah, I've kind of thought about that, about, people always say about when Saturday Night Live used to be good. And yeah, what was it ever really good, or is it just that, when you're like a teenager, you just don't have a very mature sense of humor?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I've looked back at some Saturday Night Live episodes from when I was younger, mid 80s to 90s or something. I don't know. Back when you had like Dana Carvey on doing the church lady, and back when you still had some of the original cast, Bill Murray, Steve Martin, all of that, and those folks, those were pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, there were some characters that were. Okay, here's an explanation for the thing of step on a crack, break your mother's back. That in medieval times, that cracks in the earth were seen that they could be portals to realms of the supernatural. So stepping on a crack might invite unwelcome spirits into your life.
I still want to know where these things get started. I mean, like what? Did someone step on a crack once and right at the same moment, some lava shot out of another part of the crack and mom got launched into the air by it? And then the next thing you know, she lands really hard right on her backside and she ends up, fracturing her spine or some shit. And from then on, people go, oh yeah, don't step on cracks, damn it. Think of the poor mothers.
Or some kid got home to find out that his dad had just, severely beat his mom and somehow connected that to him walking home.
Maybe. I don't know. Suddenly it occurs to me that as an adoptee, I could step on as many cracks as I like and, it won't affect my actual home life. But, my biological mother might start needing a chiropractor. I don't know.
Okay, here's the thing on why horseshoes are lucky. And it's saying because it was equated to the pagan moon goddess Diana. Just that the shape of the horseshoe, was similar to a half moon.
Also, I'm with Sloth Girl there. Eddie Murphy is Buckwheat. Yeah, Wookin' Panub, that one. And Belushi is the chef dude, where Dan Aykroyd is the chef. Yeah, that. Oh, and of course, what were their names? The two brothers, where it was Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd. We're two wild and crazy guys. That one.
Oh, yeah.
There was some fun stuff in there. Right.
Yep.
Land shark.
Yeah, being cold outside is bad luck. Getting frostbite on your skin, just not a good thing.
This morning I woke up feeling really sick and I was like, oh, fuck the COVIDs. Please not the COVID. Turns out it had gotten down into the low 40s last night and I'd left a window open. That's why I woke up so cold.
Yeah, Robert X saying until World War I, 13 was seen as lucky in France. And I think that some of the superstitions really got twisted, that some things that were, considered good to a lot of the pagans when Christianity moved into Europe, they had to basically, invert or twist them to
Or
try and get rid of
appropriate
some of the
some.
pagan lore.
Or appropriate some.
Yeah, but that in the pagan traditions, I noticed the pattern that what were considered to be powerful numbers were always prime numbers. 7 and 13 were the most common ones, and I'm guessing part of that had to do with the idea that, if you had a group with 13 people, it's impossible to ever have a tie, even if it, breaks into being, 3 or 4 different factions. There's still going to be an uneven number.
I always liked even numbers just because it meant that everyone had an equal share. But like even numbers just seem more fair to me. I don't know. It's like if you're splitting up into partners, there isn't that one kid who ends up having to partner up with the teacher. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, Gilda Radner, she's the one who did Rosanna Dana, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's married to Gene Wilder. I think.
Was she? I don't know.
I can check that. I'm trying to. I don't know. Usually I'm a repository of movie trivia and entertainment trivia, but this one I'm not sure about.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, somebody had mentioned about saying God bless you when you sneeze, and I'd forgotten about this, but yeah, that there was a belief that when you sneeze, your soul could escape your body.
Yeah, here we go. Gene Wilder.
Not Gene Tamer.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't know either. Just screwing with the names.
Actually, sometimes I wonder, like, I've never heard him say his name and probably won't because he's kind of on the dead side now. But I've often wondered sometimes, like, was his name actually pronounced Wilder instead of Wilder?
Well, I'm pretty sure it was Wilder, or otherwise I'm sure he would have corrected some other people.
I don't know. You'd be surprised. There's some celebrities out there where like everybody gets their name wrong, and it's only until like you look it up that you go, oh. So, like take for example the guy who played Corporal Hicks in Aliens, right? I look at his last name, I say this guy's Michael Biehn, but it turns out it's Michael Bean rather than Biehn. Is it like spelled Biehn or some shit? Or hell, the songwriter and male singer and rhythm guitarist of my favorite band, you look at his last name and you're thinking, that's Gessel, isn't it? But in Swedish, it's pronounced Gessla. So.
Yeah. You get into celebrities, I'm totally lost. And for me, a big part of that is I don't recognize faces anyway. So I don't really associate, how the person looks.
Oh. Well, I was really thinking of the name, but I get what you're saying. I worked in 4 video stores back when video stores were still a thing, and I would always connect people to Kevin Bacon. I used to be, like I said, and that's probably my mom saying goodnight. Like I said, I absorbed celebrity lore for a good long time until the seizures took away most of my memory. But
in Thailand, getting pooped on is good luck, but in the US, it's bad luck. I would think that it's bad luck getting shit on by anything.
Yeah, I'll just, like, even if it turns out to be amazing luck, I think I'll skip it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, regardless of what you are pooped on, or no matter how little it is, there's still all the, bacteria and virus issues.
There is that. So there's this thing, I'm not sure if it's an urban legend or if it's true, but people have said that urine is, like, while it's still in the body, is quite sterile.
Well, it is to some degree. just because it tends to be so acidic that bacteria can't really live in it.
Well, I'd still rather not be like peed on either, but you know.
Yeah, I do tend to recognize avatars easier just because they tend to be very, relatively simple patterns for the most part. That, avatars, it's more like patterns of contrasting colors rather than, faces are more complicated proportions to be able to tell the differences.
And there is absolutely no way whatsoever to tell who I am from my avatar right now. I'm joking. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor, they worked well together.
Trying to remember if I ever saw any of those. Like, I know they existed, but when I think of Gene Wilder, first thing that comes to mind is Blazing Saddles. Oh, and then Willy Wonka.
Yeah, Blazing Saddles is certainly the classic that everyone will remember.
And as for Richard Pryor, the first thing to pop to mind is The Toy and then Brewster's Millions.
Yeah, Brewster's Millions is the first one I think of. What were they in together now?
I know there's one called like See No Evil, Hear No Evil, where one of them's deaf and the other's blind. And then I was Stir Crazy, one of them, I think. Oh yeah, Philip Lorch there just said so. I know there were more, but I can't think of them.
Yeah, I can't offhand either. As far as superstitions, the black cats in particular, but cats in general, that in Europe cats were often thought to be, consorts of witches. So cats were believed to be bad luck, and they started killing them off, which of course let the rat population explode and helped spread the bubonic plague.
Yeah, that's pretty stupid of them, but, well, what are you going to do? I'm trying to find a list of these movies they were in together, and mostly I'm just finding articles.
Yeah, all I would think of is, going on IMDb and, looking up Gene Wilder and then trying to cross-reference it, but that could take a while.
Actually, this is kind of interesting. I would have loved to have seen it. Apparently, Pryor and Wilder were originally the leads in Trading Places. I'd love to see that version. But anyway.
Yep, I'm trying to flip back and forth between the page on Superstitions and watching the side chat here for interesting comments that people on the site are making.
Oh, hey, IMDb has a poll. Maybe I can see more of these. Okay. Silver Streak, Stir Crazy, See No Evil, Hear No Evil, and Another You, which I don't think I've heard of before. Actually, I never heard of Silver Streak either.
You never heard of Silver Streak?
No, I know nothing about it.
Oh.
Keeping in mind that when it was new, I was not even a year old. So
well, imagine Gene Wilder in Speed. That's more or less the idea, that they're on this high-speed train that is careening out of control.
Wonder if any of these are streaming. I can look it up later, but yeah. I mean, because I do like both actors. I just never got around to seeing. Actually, wait a minute. I think some of those movies might be on a disc that I bought because it was like one of those 3-packs, 2-packs, 4-packs, whatever, and it had something on it I wanted to see, and a bunch of stuff I didn't really care about. But I think some of those might be on there. I'm going to look here.
Yeah, no, I'm sure they're basically bubonic plague, Black Death, and Black Plague are pretty much all used interchangeably.
You know what? I think I'm thinking of Billy Crystal and Gregory Hines. They were in a couple together too, like Running Scared. I might be thinking of that team.
Oh, okay. Doc is correcting me that apparently bubonic plague and the Black Plague are different things. I thought they were pretty much used interchangeably.
Oh, I see what it was. I bought a 4-pack for Throw Mama from the Train, and it came with Easy Money with Rodney Dangerfield, Blame It on Rio with, what is that, Michael Caine, and The Woman in Red with Gene Wilder, but no Richard Pryor. That's what happened. Yeah, I was mildly smart about this and organized all my 80s movies into one section, which made it really easy to figure out what the hell had happened here. So, yeah.
Okay, and apparently the tradition of crossing your fingers came from the idea of, in pre-Christian Europe, that crossing your index finger with somebody else's was a symbol of making a pact or an agreement together. And then people got the idea of twisting their own together, I guess, to make a pact with themselves. I don't know. It seemed kind of vague on that.
But I mean, usually when people cross their fingers, or at least cross them behind their back, it's saying I'm lying. I mean, crossing your fingers for good luck is one thing, but when it's behind your back and you're lying, I wonder where that came from.
I don't know. Maybe that's making a pact with yourself without letting the other person know about it.
It's very strange.
Okay, here's a weird one. That you shouldn't chew gum at night because there was a superstition in Turkey that it was thought that after dark, chewing gum got magically transformed into the flesh of the dead.
Well, okay, fine, but I need a question answered.
Where did that belief ever come from?
On the bedpost overnight?
Well, maybe it turns into a zombie on your bedpost overnight, but...
Doorknob Head, you can have pacts that aren't with the devil. I mean, take, for example, the Warsaw Pact. Just saying.
Yeah, no, I didn't say that they were necessarily with the devil, that it was like making a pact with yourself, apparently.
I don't know. I would have thought that maybe like crossing your fingers behind your back wards off sin somehow. So when you lie, it negates it. Yeah, Sloth Girl, my DVDs and Blu-rays and all that stuff, they tend to be organized more by genre or time period. Like all the Brat Pack movies are right next to each other. All the like post-apocalypse movies, Mad Max and Waterworld and Tank Girl and shit, those are all next to each other. That kind of thing. Just so if I'm in the mood for a specific kind of something, it's easier to find. Just because like maybe I'm in the mood for a genre rather than a specific movie. That's happened.
Yeah, all my DVDs are organized by what apartment they were boxed up in.
I really should take the time to rip all of these to like my portable hard drive so I can watch them in VR again. Because I got to tell you, watching a virtual IMAX version of one of your discs is pretty cool, actually.
You can watch an IMAX movie in the VR? Yeah, that would be cool.
because I mean, you set up a virtual movie theater, and it really is kind of like you're sitting right there. There's even like animated characters eating popcorn around you. It's kind of cool.
Oh, yeah, that really would be cool. It stimulates the audience. Okay, so they've got to do a virtual Rocky Horror Picture Show experience, huh?
Well, that's the thing is you can actually invite friends to watch the movies with you. So yeah, you totally could actually. But like you can change up so many of the environments too. I mean, if you don't want the IMAX experience, you can make it look like you're in your bedroom, in your living room, whatever. The Hulu app is awesome. They have this one where it's like you're sitting in a beach chair on this sort of stormy oceanside beach. It's really cool just to sit there and watch something and have these clouds around you, but not feel cold. I love storm clouds. There's something about them. In fact,
Okay.
that's why I live in Seattle still, if it had been storm clouds instead of overcast.
Yep. Somebody has to have taken that virtual movie theater thing and gone and made it so that you're on the satellite of love with the MST 3000 gang.
If someone hasn't, I feel like I ought to.
Yeah, somebody needs to do that if it doesn't already exist.
I mean, I know there's ways to create your own environments like that. I don't know if you can put them in the program, but still. Someone somewhere has made a custom mod for that. I'll have to track it down.
Okay, Renee has an explanation for crossing fingers behind your back. It's meant as a wish that no one will uncover a lie that you have told right at the same time as you have told it.
Oh, so it's only in the moment then. If they catch you later, like the fingers crossed didn't help you at all.
Yeah, well, I know that, it's supposed to be something that you're doing while you're doing the deception.
Oh, well, sure, but I always thought it was supposed to like last forever, that no one would find out. I didn't realize it was right then in the moment.
Oh yeah, our new state COVID guidelines said that you can have a party with up to 10 people, but you can have funerals or weddings with up to 50 people. So Sloth Girl's saying that she's going to have a funeral for her pet turkey.
Yeah. Kind of wish like the pandemic would be over in time for Thanksgiving, but it won't happen. I actually I haven't seen my extended family in a very long time, and I've been asking my parents, can we do like a Thanksgiving with the fam? And I don't know, we'll see, maybe next year if they get that vaccine out.
Yeah, I know a lot of people are missing that. For me, COVID's kind of a relief on that regard, that I don't have to come up with excuses not to go to the family gatherings.
Well, I don't know, like
So all depends on your relationship with your siblings, I'm sure.
well, I don't have any of those. But I mean, I'm an adopted only child. I have very few family connections, really. And my parents were the oddballs of the family. And so we didn't hang out with the extended family as much as the rest of the extended family hung out with each other. And I always kind of felt that as a loss. Like I hear about those folks who have, like grandma lives 5 minutes away down the highway and all that stuff. And I was like, I kind of miss, like, I wish I'd had those big family gatherings. I lament the fact that I never did. And so I'm trying to get my family to do a Thanksgiving. Also, because of COVID, my parents have been trapped in Oaxaca, Mexico for more than a year. Like they intended to come home around March, and yeah, look how that happened.
Oh, so they're still stuck there.
Oh, yeah. Mind you, they have dual citizenship and a house now, so, I mean, it's okay that they're there, but still,
Okay.
we were supposed to see each other in the summer, and that didn't happen either.
Yeah, but at least they have a place to live there. They're not just like stuck in a hotel.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, maybe it's selfish of me, but I was more thinking about not having seen them.
Yeah, no, I get that too. I just, I would feel worse about them if they were, having to be stuck in a hotel all this time, because it's like, yeah, a hotel can be nice for maybe a week or so, but after a while.
Well, if nothing else, they were there for the Day of the Dead, which I'm pretty sure is just laden with superstitions.
Yeah, although I had already been seeing reports that basically the Mexican government was telling people that, no, you're not going to be able to do that this year. That they were not going to, I mean, it used to be like citywide parties and everything, and they were trying to discourage any kind of group gatherings.
I just thought of something to call that is either awesome or wildly racist, and I'm not sure which. Like Day of the Dead, Mexican Mardi Gras. I don't know. Is that offensive or not?
I don't know. I don't have any close friends of that heritage, so I wouldn't be able to make a call on that one.
Well, about a month or two ago, I was thinking about, what if you encounter an actor who usually plays an alien in science fiction, but now they're not wearing their makeup because you bump into them on the street or at a convention or something. Would it be offensive to say that they were in human face?
I would think probably that one wouldn't be taken badly at this point because it's still a theoretical thing. If we had actually encountered aliens from other worlds, then it might be different.
Okay, I was kind of making reference to blackface, and if they're in their alien makeup, they're in alien face, and when they're not, they're in human face. And
Yep.
I posted it on Facebook, and a lot of people were telling me, no, that's awesome. So I don't know. It sounds like it could easily offend someone, though.
Yeah. I really don't know how people would take that.
Yeah.
Of course, there are people who claim that Klingon is their religion, so.
I've never been to a Klingon wedding, but I've heard about them.
I've never seen one in person either, but I know that there are people who usually seem to belong to things like the SCA and organizations like that have actually claimed Klingon as their religion.
Well, that's one thing that mildly irritates me about the SCA is they're very intolerant about the anachronism you choose. You can't show up and say, but Star Wars was a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. They get snarky about that.
Yeah.
You show up dressed like Judy Jetson, and you go, what? The future's an anachronism too? But no.
Yeah, I really didn't get a real good response when I went to the Renaissance Festival as a time traveler from the 20th century.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure I've told you why time travel will kill you, right?
No, why?
Oh, well, because on April 5th, 1955, the Earth was way the fuck over there. So you time traveled successfully, and now you're sucking hard vacuum.
Oh, yes, yep, we have brought that up.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, if we have big parties for Day of the Dead, it will be Day of the Soon-to-be-Dead.
Well, I can't wait until, 2033, so we can actually legit call any baby born now a quarantine.
Yep. Yes, and Sloth Girl's correct. Mexican Mardi Gras would actually be Cinco de Mayo.
Probably. I don't know. One of these days when the pandemic is over, I should start doing things like St. Patrick's Day, because it turns into one hell of a party here in San Diego. Come to think of we have quite the Hispanic population, so anything like Cinco de Mayo gets pretty partay-ish as well. I'm still surprised at how I haven't seen a scrap of anti-Hispanic bigotry here in this town, like not a tiny bit of it. And I fully expected to see some when I moved here, and
Sure.
I'm both surprised and glad. But the implication I had from everyone was that at least a third of the population hated the Mexicans, and I'm glad they're wrong. I'm just surprised.
Yeah, I thought there would have been, some degree of racial tension there in that regard.
I mean, maybe I'm just running in the wrong parts of the town. I don't know.
Oh, and Sloth Girl's got a comeback. This is something I was asking. On Wednesday, was that saying Happy Veterans Day seemed weird? That there should have been some other way. So she was suggesting Thank a Veterans Day. Because like when it's a holiday that commemorates a war or a tragedy, saying Happy Day just feels totally wrong.
Yeah. Well, you could say like Good Veterans Day.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, I'm just spitballing here. I don't know. Merry Veterans Day. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how to make it positive while still keeping the original sentiment. Like Thank a Veterans Day doesn't. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. It just doesn't send the same message of like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, basically, I was looking, for how you would greet people on that day to, remind them that there's an observance today, but it's not really a celebration.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a point. I don't know. I've often wondered, like, I know I shouldn't bring it into it when I'm actually talking to a veteran, but I mean, I hate war. I kind of wish we'd stop doing it so much. And so when I look at Veterans Day, I realize, yeah, that's like the soldiers less than the people who said, let's have a war. But I still feel kind of icky celebrating people who've maybe committed a lot of violence or even killed someone. That's hard for me to go, yeah, that was awesome of you. Especially since most of the World War II veterans are pretty dead, and now all we've got left is like what, Korea, Vietnam, all those wars of aggression we perpetrated. And I'm like, it's hard to celebrate that, but I realize I'm supposed to be celebrating you, but you were in that, but blah 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 blah. Oh, I end up overthinking it pretty hard.
Well, the thing to keep in mind as far as like the soldiers on the ground, most of them aren't really there for any conviction about the politics.
Oh, I know.
Most of them are just there to keep themselves and their buddies alive.
Yeah. I know. It's just that's why I made the whole point about it's not the people in charge, it's the soldiers, and that's different. I did try to make that distinction.
No. Yeah, I got that. And I'm just trying to put a very human face on it, that if you look at from the perspective of the soldiers, that they don't want to be there either, and they probably don't really care one way or the other as far as the politics.
I don't know.
They just want to get home alive.
Aunt Jer there says, thank you for your service. And I mean, yeah, but at the same time, it was in the service of something they shouldn't have been doing in the first place. And I realize it's not their decision, but I don't know. Maybe this is one case where being raised by hippies was a detriment.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've got plenty enough friends in the military, especially since I now live in a Navy town. So I've had to rethink a few things that I was taught about the military.
Yeah, where we're living, we're in St. Cloud, Minnesota, and that there's a noticeable Somali population here. And part of it is they do tend to stand out just because they tend to stick very much to their traditional dress.
Oh.
So it's very obvious, most of them when you see them in the stores and that. And yeah, there's definitely a lot of bigotry aimed at them. When I lived in St. Paul, there was a similar thing because in the 90s, there was a sizable immigration of Hmong people into St. Paul.
Of what people?
Hmong.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
And a lot of people really resented that. And actually, that was the result of a promise that we had made to them when they helped us during the Vietnam War. And it just took, 25 years for the U.S. to get around to fulfilling that promise.
Oh, of course it did.
So it's like these were people who were directly family members of the people who had helped U.S. troops during the Vietnam War.
I don't know. There was a time I actually thought this country was pretty neat, but I was also very young. I thought, well, everything I knew about this country really amounted to space program and entertainment. It wasn't until I started hitting my teens that I was looking around going, wow, shit's fucked up. I don't know. I miss that, actually. I miss being proud of this country, even if it was an illusion.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's, I never really bought the thing of, us being the best country in the world and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I thought that we generally did pretty good. And yeah, the longer it's gone on, the more I realized that, yeah, there were just a lot of things that were kind of kept behind the curtain.
Well, it's funny, like I always misinterpreted, I guess, the assertion that we are the best country in the world, because I always figured it was something like, look at all the stuff you can do here, isn't this awesome? Or look at the stuff we did, like landing on the moon, isn't that awesome? Look at all the opportunities you have, isn't that awesome? I never really connected it with American exceptionalism.
Yeah, well, I always thought it was the idea of being the land of opportunity and that, anyone could be anything they wanted. And then that just, over the years got gradually worn down to realize that, no, the opportunities aren't even for everyone. That there are some people who can be anything they want, and there are some people who are pretty much stuck with whatever they were born into and don't have any choices.
I knew whenever they said that there was, that you can do anything you want to. And I was like, yeah, well, how can I ever become a fighter pilot with these peepers? Because before the LASIK, I was pretty nearsighted. And so I knew there was something off about that statement, much the way like whenever someone said, oh, yeah, slow and steady wins the race. I'm like, actually, fast wins the race if it doesn't get arrogant. But that's apparently not the lesson you're supposed to learn from the tortoise and the hare.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of those classic fables that people don't seem to have gotten the morals right on. That the idea's got a little messed up there.
Well, I mean, the way I always looked at it, the tortoise and the hare is basically the same as Casey at the bat, really.
Yeah. I was thinking that one just the other day. I don't know why. About Casey at the bat. And yeah, the idea that, at least the version of it I remember, that when he struck out, it was like the first two pitches he didn't even try.
Exactly, which to me is much like the rabbit falling asleep because he figures, I'm ahead, I got time.
Yeah, he just figured he was so good that he could, just do it in one swing and, not even have to take the chance that he might miss one.
Yeah. So, I don't know, I figured the lesson was about arrogance, but everyone else thought different.
Yep.
Oh, well.
But they wouldn't be folk heroes if people didn't prop them up, huh?
Okay, you lost me.
Casey at the bat.
Oh, well, okay. Was that based on a real guy? I never thought so.
Yeah, I don't remember that one or not. And that there's a lot of those that are questionable. There's actually a good YouTube channel, John Solo, that he does the origins of all sorts of messed up fables and stories and that. And he really gets into it, and it really shows that, while we tend to know the Disney versions that, like with the Grimm's fairy tales, a
Oh,
lot of them have pretty messed up beginnings.
oh, a lot of them are twisted as hell. I mean, there's like the whole thing where the evil stepsisters try to put their feet into Cinderella's glass slipper, and they end up like cutting off toes to fit in.
Yeah,
And what's her face? The Little Mermaid there is like walking on broken glass and nails and shit the whole time. That's how bad her feet hurt.
yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. So yeah, if you're interested in that kind of stuff, yeah, search for John Solo on YouTube.
I like the name.
Yeah, you'd like his tagline too, is Solo shot first.
Ah.
So I don't know which side of that debate you stand on, but
Wait,
yeah, as far as I recall, in the original version of the story, I don't remember, Greedo even having a chance to do much of anything. That hand shot him under the table.
Yeah, as Han goes, yes, I'll bet you have, Blast. There was no.
Yeah.
And I mean, I might have been a little more okay with Greedo shooting first if it didn't look so awkward. Like when he fires, the bolt seems to go in some completely unnatural direction that had nothing to do with where the barrel was pointed, and that drove me up the wall.
Well, and, if he's somebody who has some kind of training and experience with a weapon, and they're sitting across the table from each other at that range, it should be pretty hard to miss.
Well, you'd think. I don't know. It was such a bad idea. It was as bad as Spielberg removing the guns from the hands of the like Secret Service dudes because like it was, I don't know, too violent or something. You can't point guns at kids, so they changed them to walkie-talkies. Oh.
Yeah, the thing with Greedo, the only way that scene could have worked is if they, had something somehow that just as he was pulling the trigger, somebody hit his arm.
Right, yeah. Should have just kept it the same. It was just...
Yeah, well, and that's generally the case. I mean, when you have a classic movie, just leave it alone. Don't try to remake it. Don't try to adapt it.
Don't make a sequel 30, 40 years after the fact. I'm looking at you, Tron. God, Tron Legacy was so bad. But anyway.
Yeah, I never saw the new one because basically I heard enough people tell me how bad it was. I had friends who saw it opening weekend who just said don't.
It paid no respect to the original lore whatsoever. And it broke, like, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are fans of Daft Punk, but there was no way they should have been in the computer world. I mean, that just broke the fourth wall for me so hard. It was like, no, if Daft Punk is gonna appear anywhere, it has to be in the real world. I don't know. I just. But anyway, yeah, quit messing with our movies.
Okay, I was wondering when Andrea was talking about having traveled to the future to buy forks. So, yeah, she just put this link up that I checked, and she had posted a thing on Twitter that apparently, according to Amazon, she purchased forks in December of 2020.
Huh. Interesting.
So, yeah.
Speaking of which, I forget, do I have any outstanding orders? No, I don't. I got a package of masks earlier today and thought for sure there was something else, but I guess I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm kind of pissed at eBay right now because I had ordered the last component for my new computer, the CPU for it, that I found a deal on eBay, and I did the buy it now and paid for it right away. And then the next day, they sent me a message saying that they had suspended that account for suspicious behavior, but they're advising me to wait and see if the item arrives before I can start a claim. And it's like, if you suspended the account and it clearly shows the item has not shipped yet, why can't I just cancel the transaction now, rather having to wait 10 days to see whether or not the guy stiffed me before I can ask for my money back?
Yeah, that's it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, I mean, if it clearly shows the item hasn't been shipped yet, why do I have to go through this waiting? Because basically that means that, yeah, assembling the computer is going to be put off even longer. And basically the reason I bought it off of eBay was all the sites on Amazon said it was going to be back ordered for 2 weeks.
Ugh.
So that was the only place that said that they were likely to ship it in less than a week. But oh well.
Yeah.
So yeah, so there's an update on my new computer for anybody who cared.
All right, on. Are you building it for a specific purpose?
Well, mostly for video editing was the focus of it.
Ah.
You know, that the one I had, I could manage the video editing, but it was taking like an hour and a half to render a 7-minute video.
Oof.
And it's not even like I was doing animation or anything. I was just doing like narrated slideshows.
Right. That's too long.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was pretty much, you know, that even before it started acting flaky, I was already thinking that I need to get something faster. And so,
Well,
yeah, I was going up to something that had the a Ryzen with the quad-core processor.
Well, I have a machine right now that is powerful enough to run Cyberpunk 2077 if they ever actually release it, which would be nice. They've like it was supposed to release back in April, and then they said November, then they said December, and then they said no, a different day in December, and it's just been deeply frustrating. But yes, it's a pretty powerful machine. I'm as soon as I'm done with Quinn Redshift, I'm gonna try to move to Windows 10, which means learning to use Blender. But you know, because or getting uber rich and actually being able to afford present day 3ds Max.
Yeah, I haven't tried to use Blender myself, but I'll have to find a link. There is a channel I've been watching that just because they did a lot of short tutorials on how to, you know, create things in Blender.
Well, A, hi Jenny.
Hi.
B, I looked at Blender, I played with it for about an hour, and I realized there is going to be a learning curve because it does not do things the same way as Max. I'm sure there's ways to do what I'm trying to do, but they're clearly different.
I hear
Yeah,
a lot of
that's
people
why-
really like Blender.
Yeah, that's why I haven't started playing with it yet, because I can see for me it's going to be a pretty long learning curve.
That's that open source or that shareware stuff, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah, it's an open source thing. That's why a lot of people like it.
You can get it off Steam for free.
Okay.
Yeah. Nadine uses Blender. She does some good animation work with it.
Well, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot that I'm going to have to unlearn, specifically because, like, I have expectations for how an animation program is supposed to work because I've been using 3ds Max for literally decades. And so I'm probably gonna be like, how do I do this thing? And people will say, yeah, you can't actually do that way. The functionality is there, but it works in this completely counterintuitive to you because you're used to something else fashion. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
My problem with learning any video editing software is that they all assume that you have already used Windows Movie Maker. I can't find any tutorials for having never used a program of that type before.
Uh-oh, looks like we lost Jenny.
She'll be back. it happens a lot that, you know, yep.
Actually, I'm
She's
off.
still working with her cell phone, so like she gets a call or something, it bumps her off.
I'm actually getting tired, so it's good someone else has shown up. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to last.
Okay, yeah, doorknob head. In my case, it's not going to be a disposable graphics card. I went with one of the Ryzen chips that's got the graphics processor built onto the CPU, so I won't have a separate graphics card. And part of why I did that was because I was able to get a nice, inexpensive motherboard that way that will actually support me having 3 monitors.
I'm doing the 3 monitor thing myself right now.
Yeah, I've been working with just one, but I've already seen that, yeah, for video editing, have at least 2, possibly 3 would be much easier.
The extended desktop has helped me more than once, like especially when I'm working with 3ds Max and I know that there's something where I'm like, I will never remember the numbers I inputted. So I'll like take a screenshot and put it over on one of the other monitors so that when I need it, it's there. You know, I don't have to rely on my, let's face it, faulty memory to remember like the coordinates that I put a certain vertex, you know?
Yep. Okay, whose turn is it to spank doorknob head? You know he enjoys it.
Yeah. Is it still a spanking if it's not on someone's tuchus?
No, I think a spanking pretty much has to be on the bum.
Well, then I guess if it's not, you're just hitting them. Or slapping them, I guess, depending on how you do it. And
Yeah.
this just took a bit of a dark turn.
A dark turn. Aren't they all kind of, dye-colored? But
You lost me.
the seabirds.
Oh, right. Okay. I forgot.
I knew that one was kind of stretching it as it came out, so I didn't know if anybody was gonna. Yeah.
Well, I have a tendency to like spoonerize and look at palindromes and stuff. I love language. And every time I would go into Windows and I would open the task manager, my brain would turn it into masked tanager. And I was like, I'm convinced that's a bird. That has to be a bird. And it was. I don't know where I first heard it, but every time I just turn that into
Sloth
tanager.
Yep, Sloth Girl's excited for an opportunity to beat doorknob head.
Oh.
Upside the head is a Denazo. Yeah, and she is cute.
Not sure I've ever actually seen Sloth Girl, or if I have, it was one of those memory issues I've been having.
Yeah, she doesn't get on. She doesn't get in the live chat very much. She has been on camera at least a couple of times. Probably not since the Christmas stream.
Oh gosh, okay. All right. Not sure I remember much of that. I just remember the part I did.
Yep. Oh yeah, and we are gearing up for that again. Basically, Christmas Day is a Friday this year. So it's going to start out with my Thursday midnight stream. And basically, when I wrap up here on Christmas morning, Nacho Witness will be starting his Christmas party after that.
Well, I'm not sure. Like, I don't know what I would do if you said yes, but I'll take a slot.
Yeah, well, I'm looking for people willing to take 2-hour slots.
Ooh, 2 hours. I can probably do that too. It's like,
well, that's too much. If you can only take an hour, I'm sure there will be other people who would only do an hour too, so we could fill it in.
I mean, I'm sure I could get a guest or two in, and we could talk about stuff. Last year I had a theme. This year I don't know. Like I did the whole Die Hard and Gremlins are indeed Christmas movies nonsense.
You could cover the Star Wars holiday special.
Oh, jeepers! If I can, well, it's probably on YouTube, so yeah, I can probably find it. But I mean, I understand it's really terrible.
Yeah, George Lucas doesn't like to admit it exists.
Yeah. Which is weird because I read somewhere that he thinks Jar Jar is his favorite character. And I'm like, really? That's the one you're proud of? And that's the one you're ashamed of? Really?
I saw that on Twitter, but, I didn't know if that was really backed by anything or if that was just a meme someone made.
I'm with you on that. I wasn't sure whether to believe it either.
Paula Gia worked on that movie a bit.
I hope you mean the Phantom Menace, because otherwise that would make him really old.
I believe that is during the period that he was working for George Lucas.
Gotcha. And
I don't know specifically what he did, but I know that he was working for Lucas's Industrial Light and Magic for a while there.
Hey, Kate, the first movie I made, the first movie I ever made was 16 millimeter.
Actually, well, no, okay. I made VHS stuff first, but when I went to film school, we switched to film, and I'm pretty sure that was 16 millimeter.
Yeah, probably.
When I was in high school,
wind-up brownie cameras, if you remember those.
What for film?
Yeah,
those were all 8 millimeter. Was it a reel or a cartridge? Probably a cartridge.
I don't remember. It was decades ago.
Yeah, probably cartridge. They started using Super 8 back in the early 70s, and everything switched over to that pretty quick.
Yep. Yeah, that's when I was in high school. I did stop motion animation with a Super 8 movie camera.
There are people who process 8 millimeter film still, and there's a whole subculture of people who still want to make movies with 8 millimeter and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I wish I had gotten the reels, but they were in my mom's attic when she closed out the house, and I have no idea what happened to them.
Oh, of stuff you made?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, the stuff I made in the mid-70s.
I have to admit, I've never quite understood the desire to use a retro version of one medium or other. I'm sorry, I can never listen to a record on vinyl. I don't see how hisses, pops, and crackles make something better.
It's more than that. It's the depth of the music. If you look at, it's different. You miss everything between the notes on digital that you have on analog.
But you still get the hisses, pops, and crackles.
Yeah, so what?
So I don't like it.
Well, I understand that.
Yeah. So I don't know. The last video that I shot that was not specifically for YouTube was done with my cell phone, and it's quality video.
Imaging, I feel real different about audio. Digital audio is much easier to work with, by far, and so I prefer it in that sense. But for imagery, though, give me film. The CCDs just have still not gotten to the point where they're as good as film was. They're getting there, but they're still not quite. How it looks.
Okay, but that's still kind of a matter of opinion, though. I mean, by what standard?
Yeah,
by how it looks.
Well, okay, but
theoretically, I can get the concept.
A lot of film will have scratches and resolution issue. I mean, you look at some old timey film, and
Oh,
I don't
sure.
mean like black and white stuff. I mean like 60s, 70s, whatever.
Mhm.
The film quality is awful, and you get a lot of grain and stuff. I like my images cleaner than that.
Oh, see, grain is part of the romance.
It didn't do it for me. It's kind of like I've had a lot of people saying, "Oh, I can't stand the pandemic. We can't go to the theater to see the movies." And I'm like, for me, the story is far more important than a big screen.
Look how many filters there are in like Adobe Premiere and stuff like that that are made just to make digital look more like analog.
Well, I don't get that either.
It's because it's what people really like. It's what people respond to.
It's what some people really respond to.
Most people aren't, technically in tune with film or digital, and they can only respond to what twitches their butt. And
Yeah.
when you interview people that way, they always prefer analog for image quality and stuff. The percentage wise, certainly
Well,
not everybody.
we run in different circles.
Yeah,
Clearly.
I understand.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I'd rather read a book on a Kindle just because it's easier on my hands. The number of times I've had to prop open a book and it just keeps wanting to close on me, and I accidentally drop it, and then it does. And I'm like, I'd rather just have my Kindle. There's like hundreds of books on this thing, and it can go everywhere, and it's small and light, and it doesn't hurt my hands.
Well, honestly, I want to like something like a Kindle or reading on a tablet, but it feels strange. It feels strange to my eyes. I don't know why.
I killed 3 books in the last 2 weeks, and I have such a stiff neck. I can't tell you how much it hurts.
Well, I wonder how much of this is just a matter of age.
Well, I think it's absolutely what you've been brought up with. Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all.
Well, I mean, I was brought up with film, though. It's just I watched it evolve and I guess embraced each of the changes as they happened.
Mm-hmm. I can. Yes, absolutely. I was brought up with film, but I'm one of those old people that actually stayed contemporary with computers and digital all the way along, and so I'm as advanced as any young person is today. I started doing digital editing as soon as Final Cut Pro came out. I was out there with my own video cams and shooting digital and editing and stuff. It's I taught it myself. I've been using Photoshop since version 1.
Right. Yeah.
So it's not like I'm an old person who's behind on stuff.
I really did appreciate when digital cameras got decent, just because they were capturing the image faster. And with film cameras, I tended to get blurry images just because I couldn't hold it steady long enough.
Yeah. Well, that's actually one of the jokes that we always had in the film crews and stuff I worked with, is nobody'd care about if something was out of focus because it's image, it's moving, it's motion pictures. It's always out of focus. When you come from a still photography world and move into movies, it's like there's no such thing as a sharp movie.
Don't get me started. But like my background is largely in animation, so I've been doing digital pretty much most of the time, except for that time in high school when we were working with VHS, and that time in film school when they put film cameras in our hands. But basically, since then, since I moved to Seattle, it's been 100% digital for me.
I think digital is the only way to do animation.
Well, but I mean for video as well, like live action video as well. So, but I do love being an animator. I do love being a storyteller, and
yeah, well,
animation is just my medium.
Yeah, and computers definitely, give you a lot more abilities in animation. Yeah, there's just a lot more you can do without having to take quite as much time for it,
Or
as
money.
opposed to drawing individual cells. So yeah, especially for one person trying to do something alone, I can see the big advantage to doing it on the computer.
Well, that, and I mean, like if I have digital video of live action stuff and I want to incorporate some CGI, some
Mhm.
special effects, it's much easier digitally that way too.
Yep.
I shudder to think of like the god awful gyrations they probably had to go through in like Terminator 2 or Jurassic Park back in the 90s. Although a lot of Jurassic Park was practical effects, actually.
Yeah, they actually did puppets for the velociraptors.
Really?
Yep.
Or at least as much as they could. There were a lot of scenes they couldn't like get them to move that way as practical effects, so they had to do it digitally. But for the most part, Spielberg tried as hard as he could to use models.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I hate to say it, but if you know what to look for, you can spot it.
Yeah, if I go back and look at it now, I can kind of see where the scenes go between the models and the puppets.
I tried so hard to explain to someone once, like they were going, what's the point of a special edition? And I'm like, well, they removed the matte lines. What the hell are matte lines? And I went down this rabbit hole of trying to explain compositing to them, and all of their questions made it clear they didn't get it. So. That's actually been kind of the bane of my YouTube existence. Whenever I would use a green screen and I would try to get a clean image, there was always little green artifacts floating around my hair and stuff like that. It was such a pain in the ass.
Yeah, green screen is a difficult monster.
Yeah.
I was never very good at it myself.
Yeah, I've haven't looked at them in a while, but I had gone back and watched most of Kate's library of her earlier stuff. So I know what you mean about, the green screen and how it was doing funny things with your hair and some of it.
And looking back on those days, I also wish I'd had a better microphone. I'm actually ashamed of some of my earlier videos just because the quality is so shite.
I think virtually everyone on YouTube winds up thinking that when they go back and look at their first few videos.
Yeah.
Or their first 100, depending how prolific they were.
Well, both of you have very good microphone quality.
Well, I've got a Blue Yeti now, but back then I was just using the built-in microphone on a laptop. So
yeah, that's
pretty actually crummy. all I've been using is the microphone on a fairly cheap headset. I've got a snowball microphone, but that was the first problem I started having with my computer, was that it doesn't want to recognize the snowball microphone anymore.
I love old time ribbon mics. Their sound quality is just
I'm not quite sure what you mean by a ribbon mic.
A ribbon mic most microphones are pretty much built the same as a speaker, except it takes in instead of pushing out.
Yeah.
A ribbon mic, instead of using some sort of cone and magnet, it uses an actual strip of material that takes in this very broad area of sound compared to the little bitty pieces of sensitive spot on a cardioid or any of those other things. They're the ones that always look like they look like a box with rounded edges, and typically they look in a various I don't know, avant-garde kind of design or 1940s kind of shaping to them.
The old-time radio microphones.
Yeah. It was before things started getting suspended in in rubber or springs to eliminate vibration and stuff.
Hmm.
Some people have learned how to hook them up to a digital system, and you can tell when you hear it. It's just, oh my gosh, the depth and the mellowness of the sound. It's really kind of surprising.
You know what I've never, like, I mean, this is only slightly related, but what I've never had a chance to use is one of those old-timey phones where you have an earpiece, but the mouthpiece is built into the phone, like it's a microphone kind of thing, like it's almost on a post of some sort.
Yeah.
You know the ones where to get the operator, you have to run a crank. I've always wanted to try one.
We used to have one of those.
Yeah. My great aunt used to have one of those in her house.
Yeah, it was functional. We had it hooked up to our system, and it was just an extension phone. You couldn't place calls with it because you needed an operator.
Yep.
But you could certainly receive a call.
Yeah, and it was on the party line.
So that, I remember party lines.
Yeah, that each phone each house would have a different ring. So sometimes if it rang but it wasn't her ring, she would pick it up very carefully so it didn't click, so she could listen to the neighbors.
Those are things that were kind of a pain in the ass to use, because you always had to hold the earpiece, up to your head, and they were not light. There was no way to like cradle it in your shoulder, like a regular carrier or anything like that. So they weren't a lot of fun, but they were fun to have and to use that way. But
well, that's why I just wanted to try it instead of owning one.
Okay.
Now it's funny because I watched an old sci-fi movie. I want to say it was The Blob, which was 1958, and they used one of those phones in it. And I'm like, how long did those last?
They were around at least in some rural areas until the early 1970s, or I wouldn't remember them.
Mm-hmm.
I only know about them because of movies and TV.
Yeah, but yeah, my aunt must have had one at least until like 72. So I got to step away for a moment.
Oh. It also looks like they're remaking The Blob again.
Oh no, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The 88 version was much better than the 58 version. But
there was another version? I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why I said they're remaking it again.
Oh. Who was in the remake?
Hardly anyone famous really, but it was still pretty good compared to the 58 version. Let's see. I think the most famous person I'm seeing so far is Candy Clark, and she's barely. Oh wait, no, there's Art LaFleur. I know him from lots of things, but that's like 10 cast members down. I don't know. Does anyone remember Kevin Dillon at all?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I think he's Matt Dillon's brother or something, and it's like you got to wonder how it is when you're like one of your siblings is way more famous at what you're doing than you are. That's got to suck at least a little.
Yeah, I know what you mean. We had that situation in my family.
Oh,
when it came to cars and BMWs and stuff, I was the smart one, and my brother was always trying to catch up.
Huh.
And he he was always jealous. He would never admit it, but you could just see it in his behavior and stuff. But he just, all he would have had to done is to focus on the talents that he had, because he was so much better than me in a lot of areas, but he kept trying to compete with me in my areas. It's like, John, this isn't you. That's you. He was expert body work and customizing that way and stuff.
So he worked out a lot then.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Sorry, I heard body work. My brain instantly plugged it. So.
And I couldn't do body work to save my soul. or welding. I use, God, unbelievable welding that this kid could do. He could weld. See, now this is going to mean anything to people unless they have some grip on welding. He could weld though. He'd do TIG welding. He could weld. Oh God, how big was it? Like maybe 40, 50,000 sheet aluminum together. TIG welding is very, very difficult, and the first thing you find out when you try it, when you're learning it, is that you melt the material and it vaporizes to nothing. So you do more punching holes in metal than you do welding it together. And the thinner it is, the more difficult it is. And 50,000 is that's like a half a dozen layers of tinfoil in your kitchen. And he could weld that shit, and it's like, God damn, kid.
I've never tried a TIG welder. I'm pretty decent at arc welding.
Arc is fun too.
Well, I'm really good at welding together two virtual vertices in 3ds Max. Best I can do.
I'm going to have to quit welding. I do a little bit yet for hobby, even though I'm retired. But I'm going to have to quit doing it if I get this defibrillator put in me.
Oh, just the fumes from it?
No, the welding machines put out RF noise that can disturb the pathways.
Yeah, it's a strong enough magnetic field that it can disturb the rhythm.
Yep, have to leave the room if somebody else is welding, all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm ready to face plant, so I'm gonna take off and go to bed like a fucking champion.
Okay, you think you'll grow a new one by morning?
Oh.
Sure, why not? All right, catch you like the plague. Have fun.
Okay, good night.
Always good to talk. Have you seen any of her animation? She really does some nice stuff.
Oh yeah, like I said, I've watched most of her old video collection. Mostly, well, what was that? 3 years ago now that I was recovering from my hernia surgery. So basically, I couldn't get out of my chair for 6 weeks, and I had nothing else to do but kind of binge on YouTube. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to her doing this big project that she's been working on. But I quite liked her Rational Station series. I would have liked to see her do more episodes of that.
I haven't seen as much of her stuff as I should have. I need to explore more of her offerings.
Yep. Yeah, when I get the new computer set up, I'm going to be trying to play with some of that myself and try to do
the all the parts.
Huh?
Have you got all the parts?
No, I've got everything except for the CPU, which I guess that was before you came in. I was explaining that I had bought one on eBay and, done it with the buy it now. So I paid for it right away. And then the next day, eBay sent me a message saying that this item is no longer available. We've suspended this account because of suspicious activity. But rather than letting me request a refund on it right away, they're saying I have to wait 10 days to see whether or not the guy tried to scam me before they can process it for trying to get a refund.
Oh, jeez.
So basically, I've got to wait for 10 days to see whether or not anything shows up. And only at that point, then I can try to get my money back. And then I'll have to buy another one. But the reason I had gotten it off of eBay was all of the places that had it on Amazon, it was being back ordered, that they said they weren't going to be able to ship it before the end of the month anyway.
Has it been discontinued? And
No, they're still producing them, but I guess that they're just having trouble keeping up with the demand.
Okay.
So,
Well, poopy whoopy.
yeah, it's like, yeah, and the price keeps jumping around too. So I'll probably wind up paying $20 or $30 more for it, and it'll probably be delayed another 2 weeks.
Yeah. Well, at least you got it going here. Are you going to have like RGB lights in it, man?
No, I didn't care about any of that stuff. I don't care what it looks like. I just want it to be functional.
I want RGB lights in mine.
Well, there was one case I really wanted because it was all purple. All the lights were purple.
Oh, neat.
But unfortunately, that case did not have it didn't have a slot for me to have a CD drive in it. Yeah, there was no opening in the front of the case, so I couldn't go with that one. So, yeah, actually, rather than an actual CD drive, I'm going to have the DVD drive as an external that I've got, but I still needed that slot because I found a thing for a universal card reader, that reads all the different memory cards, but it goes all the way back to the old ones. And I still have cameras that use the compact flash cards.
Yeah, I have.
So to find a built-in reader that could still handle the older formats was something that was worthwhile for me to get in there. And this one's supposed to read like 53 different formats.
Oh.
So yeah, I just basically wanted to make sure that the stuff for all of my older equipment would be covered. That if in unpacking stuff, if 2 years from now I find a card left over from one of my old cameras, I'd still be able to check what's on it.
All this, and I forgot to. Oh no!
What's that?
More than 150,000 COVID cases were reported in a single day for the first time today.
Yeah, I saw that Minnesota is not doing well.
The whole country's not doing well.
Yeah.
Good job, Trump.
Yeah, well, and now that he knows he's out of office, he's not even pretending to do anything except for file lawsuits against the states about the elections.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and even some of his Republican buddies are starting to say enough of this bullshit.
Well, yeah, since election night, or at least since 2 or 3 days after the election, they've gradually been flaking off a couple each day, stepping back from him, saying that these challenges just aren't going to amount to anything, and it's just time to get on with it.
Yeah, you're just going to cost people a lot of time and money.
Yep. Which he's working that to his advantage too. That he's been sending out fundraisers, with things about, to asking all of his supporters to sign up for recurring donations to help him fund the court suits to, get the election counts and that. But agencies, like Reuters has looked into this and found out that with the small print and everything in the things they're sending out, that anyone sending less than $8,000, virtually none of it goes to any of these suits to challenge the elections.
Mm-hmm.
That 30%, yeah, most of it goes to Trump and part of it goes to the Republican National Committee to pretty much spend any way they want.
Yeah, it goes in his pocket, personal pocket.
Yeah.
So
it's one more way he's found to make a buck off of things.
Mm-hmm. What a screw! What a screw he is. I really love how Joe Biden is handling this. He's just standing up there in completely dignified fashion and saying, "Well, we're working around it. Fuck him," but not saying "fuck him."
Yeah, it's still going to make things difficult, if they're, most presidents set up a transition team to help the new people coming in, get up to speed on their jobs and all the information they need. And Trump is doing nothing to help that. Okay, good night, Slot Girl.
Good night, honey. The person stumbled and I fell because I saw some butt cheeks being welded together. Oh, that's weird. Dornight is so weird.
Yes, he is.
Oh, they called Arizona for Joe Biden.
Yeah, I saw somebody posted that on Twitter rather sarcastically. It's like, yeah, it kind of took you long enough, but although as far as the ballots taking so long, most of that had to do with the unprecedented number of mail-in ballots.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, most states, they were not allowed to start counting them before Election Day. So I think that's something that they're going to have to, all the states are going to have to look into changing their election laws to allow them to do something that will facilitate counting those faster, because this isn't going to be a one-time thing. Now that people have done it, it's going to be more common in all future elections.
I would love to see the feds get involved with federal elections on the state level and start making demands like how many polling centers are available to people. The Republicans have cut down.
Yeah.
How many you're allowed to have in the fucking state. There's some states there's 2 in a major city. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Well, we know what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can see it was specifically targeted at closing polling places in low-income neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm. And that is just total bullshit. And the other thing that I think I'd like to see the feds get in is with absentee ballots or mail-in ballots, and allow things like start counting them from the day they come in, because there's no reason that everybody should have to wait so long and then have this just huge number of things to count. There's just no reason for that.
Well, people need to get real that we have never had actual election results on election night.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that the media should have been clear about that message, that there isn't anything unusual to many states not certifying the results until a week later.
Yeah, I agree with that. Media fell down on it very much so. I 1,000% agree on that.
It's just in most elections, by the time they've got more than 80% of the polling places closed, yeah, they could usually project a winner because it generally wasn't that close.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this year it's like there were like 7 states that it was a difference of less than 1%.
Boy, there's some nasty flooding in North Carolina. Yeah, I heard you had a big old car accident in the freeway near your neck of the woods.
Oh, I wasn't aware of it. I wasn't watching the news today at all.
Like 29 cars.
Oh.
The whole freeway was closed for most of the day, I guess.
Yeah, glad I didn't have to go out for anything today then. Although, when we're going around town here, we don't have to get on the highway for anything. Pretty much everything is just, in the adjacent suburb that's only like 5 miles away. So pretty much just city streets for us.
Well, this is weird. There's a Harry Potter inspired vehicle on Sao Paulo streets. It's chilly, isn't it? It's a one wheel thing with a seat on it and a broom. So it looks like you're sitting on a broom and going down the street holding a broom, like a witch's broom or something like that. Pretty odd looking.
Yeah, I'd have to see a picture there. I can't quite imagine what that would look like. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to be running for too long tonight either.
I'm sorry I'm late. I just completely forgot.
Oh, no. Yeah, you never need to apologize. You pop in whenever you're available.
Well, I want to show proper support for you and your shows. Your shows are so comfortable and
I appreciate that you're so consistent here.
And your chat people are always so nice.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Sammy Jenkins.
Something.
I didn't see. Yeah. I didn't see Sammy. Hi.
I keep hearing something popping in my kitchen, and I have no idea what it is.
Popping?
Yeah.
Like popcorn?
I don't know. It's probably something to do with the building's mechanical systems. Probably something to do with the heating system. I'm not sure.
Mm. What kind of heat do you have?
Yeah, it's some kind of a forced hot water system. It's not the old radiators. It's the baseboard heaters with the water pipes.
Oh.
So it may actually be coming from the apartment above me. I can't quite tell.
My furnace here has been giving me trouble.
I hope that doesn't get serious.
The pilot light keeps going out. It's actually a unit inside the apartment here. Floor mounted. Has a glass front panel, so you actually see the flame. So it's kind of pretty,
Yeah. Have you had a tune-up done on it?
No, I haven't. I'm just a renter, but I think I'm going to have them come in.
Yeah, with the pilot light going out on that, it's usually something that pretty much just, the routine cleaning and tune-up can usually take care of that.
No, but I think it's going to be the what do you call it? That bimetallic thing.
Yeah, the thermocouple in there.
Yeah, thermocouple. I think that's.
Yeah, that would be the next thing. That if the cleaning, and that's why you've got to have somebody who's trained with it to look at them.
Well, I've changed thermocouples in boilers type systems and stuff like that.
Oh, they're easy to change if you can definitely identify that that's what the problem is. It's just having somebody who knows how to isolate to make sure that is the problem and that's not the relay or something else.
Oh, here's the scene of your accident up there. Oh, what a mess. Something big burned. Oh, it's a flatbed truck with big rubber tires on it. Like giant machine tractor size tires. And they're laying all over the freeway, smoldering. Obviously, they were burning.
Oh, tires are so hard to put out.
when I was a kid, there was this city dump landfill that was located on 124th and County Line Road. Is that County Line? No, Brown Deer Road. Well, no, actually, it was on County Line because it went all the way to County Line Road. So that was the far northwest corner of Milwaukee County. And we lived in a house that was on 91st Street, at the cross mark of the 6800 block. Yeah. And so here's this dump out on the 9000 block, and we're on the 6800 block, and we're also 50 blocks east of it. And one day, a fire started at the landfill in the tire section, and it burned for 10 years.
Yeah, I've heard about tire fires going for years like that.
Yeah, and every time the wind was just right, we would smell it, even from that distance.
Yeah, there's a coal mine in Pennsylvania that has been on fire for like 75 years because it's just burning the coal deposits underground.
Isn't there one in Colorado too? I thought I heard. I could be wrong.
Might be the one in Pennsylvania. It's like they had to basically evacuate, a whole area of a town because it's just made the ground underneath it unstable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my house burned starting at the basement. It's like,
well, it's more a problem of it's creating sinkholes because the coal burns away and there's nothing to support the weight, so things just suddenly fall through the ground.
Remember when you were a kid and you'd play in the living room and jump from furniture to furniture, pretending the floor is lava?
Yep.
Apparently it's real some places.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait till Biden starts. I just feel completely uncomfortable with Trump being there in this lame duck situation.
Yeah. I'm worried about what he might find that he can pull yet, but not really anything we can do about it.
Well, but I'm fucking scared.
Yeah, I was making a joke about it last night and today on Twitter that I thought that after the election I was going to cut back on my drinking, but the Republicans have announced that it's going to be unsafe to be sober before January 20th.
Oh God. I hope America really learns a lesson at this. The lessons I want to see America learn is don't run unqualified people for this job.
Well, I would hope so. Unfortunately, the reality is that, over 7 million people still voted for him again.
Yeah, I know.
So, yeah, that's like, 40% of the population still thinks that was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the scary part, that, we've apparently got a lot of people who didn't learn anything from the time he was president.
Well, but what I'm hoping is that the parties, and I'm not too hopeful out of the Republican Party for this, but that the parties would realize that it's more important to keep somebody who's qualified running for that job than to just win. That sometimes winning is not the right thing to do for the country.
Yeah. I mean, it would be wonderful if the Republican Party would just self-destruct and it would, make an opportunity for a new party to rise up. I don't know how realistic that is, but It would be nice if we actually had a party that was left of center.
See, I don't think that even if like Ross Perot had won, that he would have been any better of a president. I mean, he wouldn't have been. I don't think he would have been psychotic. hate-filled person that Trump is, but in terms of his competency, I don't necessarily think that he'd be any better. People think that you can run a government like you can run a business, and you can't. You just can't. They're two different philosophies.
Yeah.
They're
And
just
Trump
not the
wasn't
same.
even good as a businessman, but
Well,
that's another issue. Yeah. But yeah, that's you can't run the country as a business because you're supposed to be concerned with the general welfare of the entire population.
mm-hmm. And that's the other thing, that the whole politic of the right wing philosophy of original
Yeah, they're still
intent in
trying to go with the idea of what's good for business is good for the country.
No, what I was trying to say is the original intent of the Constitution.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Well, the healthcare is not a right. It doesn't say that in the Constitution. Well, things change,
Yeah.
and the Constitution is pretty old in some areas, and it needs to be amended.
Well, and that's why the founding fathers, set it up in the original document that there was a process for amending it, because they realized that things would change and things would come up in the future that they hadn't considered yet. They knew that if they made it too static, that the country wouldn't survive. That the only way was to make it a living document, that it could continue to change and be updated as society changed.
I just got some bad news tonight. I know I'm changing subjects here.
Yeah.
My dear nephew Justin has come down with COVID.
Yeah, I saw you mention that on Twitter. I hope he pulls through it okay, and no one else in the family comes with it.
He's the only new generation in my family. On this end of the family, we have some people my age, my brother's age, out in Las Vegas, and they have a bunch of kids. But around here, he's the last of our family who's actually breeding and stuff. And now he's sick, and he's got his wife and these two darling children.
Yeah.
God damn, he better be okay. He's at home. They got him at home recovering. So I'm hoping that means that it's.
Yeah. Hey, Russ. Yeah, I mean, it's good for him to be at home, but that there's also, that's got to be really difficult for the other people in the house to take care of him and at the same time keep themselves from catching it.
So I'm pretty scared right now for Justin. I haven't gotten to talk to him yet.
Yeah.
My brother just gave me the news, and he's not very good at reporting details and stuff.
Yeah, well,
he's such a dynamic kid, though. He started out with his company as a security guard. Okay, minimum wage security guard. And the company has a policy of hire from within first. And
that's
today,
generally the sign of a better company.
Yeah, and today he's vice president of new product development. It's amazing. And, he flies to China for a few days in a row, down to Central America, Europe, as part of his job. It's like, holy fuck. It's just amazing. And while he was doing that, the company paid for his education, so he went back to school online, adult
Yeah.
Whatever they fucking call that now. And you got
Continuing education. Or,
yeah. Adult stuff,
yep.
finishing up your degree and that kind of junk. And now he's got a master's, and it's holy crap. The kid is just, and he grew up to be such a warm, intelligent, loving person, both to everybody else and his kids. He's just such a great father. I can't believe him. He does all the cooking for the family because he loves to cook. He's like the perfect husband kind of guy.
I hope he pulls through okay.
I do too. I will fall to pieces if he doesn't.
Yeah, can expect that's going to be pretty nerve-wracking for the next couple of weeks.
And his wife is equally as dynamic. I should say that she's actually a couple of years older than him. They went to high school together, and she also only had like a semester of college, and found some crummy paying job, worked herself into human resources, and is now, she's not in charge of the division of the company, but she's a real strong position in human resources, and one of the people that goes out and doing exterior contacts for the company and that sort of thing. So she's not just an average schnook. And together they're making huge money in their family. Yes, it's so great to see. And every once in a while, Justin will just he'll just drop $100 in my PayPal. No reason, not a birthday or a season or anything like that. It'll just suddenly be there.
No, that's nice that he can be generous with it.
Yeah. I'd like them to let me go live in their basement. Pay them rent.
Are they fairly close here?
No, they're back home in Milwaukee.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not too far away, but
if anybody out there knows Milwaukee, he's actually in Cedarburg, which is one of the conservative suburbs. He's a blue dot in the suburbs.
Yeah, so day's drive for you.
Say what?
A day's drive for you.
Oh yeah, about 5-6 hours. Yeah. Usually 6 because I drive slow and I prefer to take state highways instead of freeway.
Oh.
So you get stuck in every town you go through.
Yep. Well, where I lived up in Upper Michigan, there weren't any freeways. US 2 ran through the town, but even US 2 for stretches of it was only a 2-lane highway.
Hey, it was nice to see Michigan go blue.
Yeah, I was hoping it would, but I knew Michigan was going to be a close one. And yeah, Trump's filed a big challenge, still trying to get that overturned.
Mm-hmm.
Although they filed a challenge on the county that contains Detroit. And I don't see how they expect to win that, because it's like, yeah. Okay. First of all, did Detroit ever go Republican before you fucked over Flint, which is part of the same county?
No.
Yeah, and everybody in Michigan knows it's the Republicans who fucked over Flint.
Oh, that's a riot.
Yeah, so I,
That-
I don't see where they expect that's going to, even if they were to win it, I don't see where they expect that would change enough votes to make
The-
any difference.
The only worst choice they could have made was picking Ann Arbor.
Yeah. And most of the lawsuits are like that they're absurd things that even if they were to win them, could only mean the difference of a couple thousand votes anywhere they go.
They've got one lawsuit going. I forget exactly what they're, but it's all over 532 ballots. What are you wasting anybody's time for 532 ballots when you lost by 25,000?
There is one in
Yes.
Pennsylvania that is about a report that somebody saw them allow 52 ballots that came in after the deadline.
Okay.
52, less than 100 ballots.
It's insane. When this is all done, I would like to hope that somebody's keeping track and we can find out the count of the actual number of bad ballots for whatever reason
Yeah.
that had to be taken off and not counted.
Well, yeah, it happens in every election. There are going to be some that, either they were mismarked or the machines couldn't read them or whatever. That there's always a few thousand that are going to be bad ballots. But even with the margins as close as they were, it's not going to be anywhere near enough to actually change any states.
I did see a video that has me concerned. Let's see where it just showed up on Twitter. And it seems to be taken by somebody who's a Trump supporter.
Yep.
And they're filming these two guys with their little hanging down ID tags, and they have a vote ballot drop box that they have open, and they're taking ballots out of it and putting them in bags, duffel bags, and they're going to load them in the truck and take off. And there looks to be they had 4 duffel bags filled so far, and it looked like from the contents you could kind of see there was at least another 1 or 2 duffel bags worth of ballots in there. And the person doing the shooting is implying that this is all like a week after the vote, and that they're now going to take these in and count them. But there's no source listed on it from where it's from, or who's doing the shooting, what day it was, anything like that. So you have no idea what's really going on. But there's this video of 2 guys emptying a ballot machine and putting ballots in double bags out there. And
well, one of the videos that the Republicans were using that even Fox News had shown, somebody fact checked it and found out that not only was it not this year, it wasn't even in the U.S., that this was from a Russian election like 3 years ago.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so it's just anything that they can grab to cast some doubt. And that's all it's about now. It's not that they expect to win anything. They're just trying to cast doubt on the entire process so that their followers can continue to resist the entire time Biden's in office.
Okay, let's see here. Video. I'm going to see if I can search this. Okay. Voters reportedly filmed by Trump campaign while depositing. Well, let's see.
Yeah.
Come on, show us the video. No, this wouldn't be it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to find it right offhand. Oh. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm kind of burnt out finding that it's too hard to care about much of anything at this point. Maybe if I could have some time to recharge. And that's pretty much how I'm feeling right now, too, that I'm kind of thinking I should probably wrap this up here so I can get some rest and try to recharge here, because I'm just...
The longer you stay up, the faster you'll go to sleep.
Yeah, I wish that ever worked. I wish anything would ever work to get me to sleep.
I want to find this video.
Yeah. I'll see if maybe tomorrow I can find the news story that I had found that under. But yeah, I think we're going to wrap this up for the night. So thanks everybody for coming.
Goodbye, chat.
Nice to have you all sitting with us for a few hours.
Nice to see you guys all again. Don't forget movie night tonight.
Yep.
At 10:30 Eastern.
Yep. On the Sci Strike channel.
And watch for Jen's Little Corner doing something on Sunday.
Okay.
It'll be in the morning, our hours.
Yeah, I think she... On Sunday or on Saturday?
See, now you got me going. I don't know.
I thought Jen's Little Corner was doing hers on Saturday.
It might be.
Yeah, but then, Diana, the Lavender Lady, does her chats starting at noon Eastern on Sundays. Or no, starting at 10 Eastern. Yeah. Oh, so you have anything else?
No, I don't.
Okay, you not making any guest appearances this week?
No, just moving it, like I said. Nobody's asked me to be on anything else.
Yeah. Sunday morning, I will be on Animal Logic's channel. Yeah, starting about 10 o'clock or about 9 o'clock Central Sunday morning. Talking about the murder hornets and invasive species.
Well, that sounds like fun. Oh my gosh, it's Friday the 13th.
Yep. Yeah, we started out the show about Superstition tonight. I wasn't even thinking about that when I started out about Sunday, so I should have a link for that channel.
I have a mammogram on Wednesday next week. We could videotape that.
Well, if you want to live stream it, I suppose.
Well, I'm just thinking about it. Maybe I wonder do I want people to see me going through that?
Probably not.
It would freak the men out. It would definitely freak men out.
Yeah, nothing I haven't seen before.
Well, I say that, guys, out in the chat, because they take your boob and they put it between two sheets of glass and squeeze it so it flattens out, and then take a picture. and then they do it from 2 different planes: horizontal, vertical, horizontal and vertical. It's lots of fun. Oh, that's next week. Next week. Okay, on the 21st, I'm going to be on Ilya's show, that the Creepy Show. Is that the name of it? I think Ilya and Punchy's show.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they call it. But okay, yeah, here's the link for it's the Animal Science TV is the channel. They didn't have a thing up yet for the Sunday show, but so that's the channel I'll be on Sunday morning.
About what time?
About 9 a.m. Central Time.
Hi, Davey. I see you.
So, and well, the show starts at 9 a.m. Central Time. I'm probably going to be in like the second or third segment of the show. So, if you're on there right at the beginning, I might not be on there. I might not come on until halfway in.
Well, we just might check that out.
Yep.
Alrighty.
So we'll post a link for it on Twitter when there's a link available, but that may not be until Sunday morning. Okay, so that would be it for tonight then. Good night, good morning, good evening, whatever it is, wherever you are.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.